see. What do we have from the department? I see Mr. Lawrence. I see Michaela Kirchhoff. Ms. Kirchhoff, are you here on this matter?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
All right, thank you very much. Looks like we have everybody. Mr. Brown, is your client, Mr. Kent, going to be here?
He is not, Your Honor. I believe Mr. Lawrence did send me a phone number for him. I attempted to call. A young lady answered, said that a lot of people have called trying to reach him, and that is not his number.
All right. And then do we have anything from the non-respondent father, Mr. Weber, who has Logan with him? All right, I'm not hearing anything. All right. We'll get started then. I do have a copy of the Wellspring Court Report for today's hearing. It's signed by Ms. Kirchhoff. Is there any other documentation I should have, Mr. Sommerfeld?
No, that's all that I have, Judge. I know today was set for a pretrial for mom, but at the last court hearing, the court specifically said, hey, I'd like something a little more detailed about, the boys and mom and what's been going on, because this is still a pre-adjudication case.
Right. All right. So, Mr. Delaney, how do you wish to proceed as to the pretrial that we have for today on your client?
Did we receive the...
Welcome back, everyone. Today's hearing may sound procedural at first, but don't be fooled. This is where complex family dynamics, mental health concerns, and legal safeguards all collide. What starts as a simple attendance check quickly turns into a layered case involving custody, competency, and the well-being of two children caught in the middle. Pay attention to how carefully the judge sets the tone here. Every question matters, every report counts, and every delay carries consequences. This is one of those hearings where patience, documentation, and process quietly shape real lives.
However, there's been a further request to have a reevaluation. I don't know the status of that, and that was an issue in this case as far as tendering a plea based upon issues of competency that were raised upon the same facts in a criminal matter, which is currently proceeding in the Otsego County Circuit Court.
Yes, it's my understanding that there was a competency examination by the Center for Forensic Psychiatry, that report came back that she was competent, that her attorney requested an independent examination, and that we have been waiting for that independent examination status to be given. I don't know the exact outcome or the exact procedural status in circuit court, as I don't have access to those records myself as a sitting district judge. So I'm kind of in the same boat that you, all the other counsel are at. We're waiting on Mr. Dick to apprise us of that. And I simply have not had any communication as to that specifically or anything beyond indicating that they're still waiting for that report. So that's the last information I have. Does anybody else have any additional or newer information than that?
This is a critical moment. Competency isn't just a technical detail. It determines whether a parent can meaningfully participate in their own case. The court is balancing two systems at once, a criminal process and a child welfare proceeding. Moving forward too quickly could violate protections, but waiting too long can leave children in limbo. You can hear the judge wrestling with that responsibility. This is what cautious justice looks like. Slowing things down, demanding updates, and making sure no one's rights are trampled while still keeping the kids' safety front and center.
Forward, and I haven't heard from him.
Well, and I appreciate your reluctance to move too quickly, Mr. Delaney, and I think that is appropriate. I'm going to ask for some, at least some, I want to go through the report about the kids, make sure that while we're in the meantime here, that we're doing everything that is necessary and appropriate for the kids. But I'm going to grant your request that I believe is forthcoming to adjourn the matter until we can find it out. However, I am going to place on you the burden of speaking with Mr. Dick and of getting specific information about the status in circuit court. And if there is a report available, bringing that to my attention and then through that to the other parties' attentions, if that would be appropriate. Again, I don't want to overstate or overstep my bounds in the criminal matter, but I want to be able to proceed in parallel with that, if at all possible. But right now, while the issue of competency has not been fully resolved, I'm going to err on the side of caution. And so there are no unnecessarily appealable issues. So for today's purposes, ultimately, we're going to adjourn without doing a whole lot in regard to Mother and moving her case forward.
Here's where the spotlight shifts from legal mechanics to real-world impact. The court pauses the adult case, but refuses to pause concern for kids. That distinction matters. Even when parents' issues are unresolved, children still need structure, supervision, and support. This is why the judge calls for testimony, to understand daily realities, not just legal filings. Family court often works like this. One track handles adult accountability, while another pushes forward with child stability. It's not dramatic, but it's deliberate.
Thank you. Ms. Kirchhoff, can you state your name, please, and spell your last name?
Yes, Mikhaili Kirchhoff, Kirchhoff.
And how are you employed?
I'm a foster care supervisor with Wellspring Lutheran Services.
Okay, and we heard about a document, a court report about Adrian Stinson and Logan Weber. Are you familiar with that?
I am, yes.
And you did author that, right?
I did.
Okay. Let's talk about Adrian first. I don't really know where to start, but he's almost 18 years old.
Yes, he turns 18 in April.
Okay, and the court report describes a lot of problems about not going to school, possible criminal charges, going to live with his mother when he's not supposed to be there, and other issues. Can you talk generally about, what is your version of how he is doing right now?
So Adrian has had quite a few complications over the course of the case. I've had many conversations with him about the decisions that he continues to make and how it could be detrimental given the fact that he's going to be 18 very soon.
This testimony paints a sobering picture of a teenager standing right on the edge of adulthood while carrying serious baggage. Substance use, skipped school, unstable housing, and risky decisions all stack up fast. What's striking is how many opportunities were offered, therapy, services, supervision, and how often they were declined. The system can open doors, but it can't force someone to walk through them. With his 18th birthday approaching, the court is clearly worried about what happens when oversight fades and consequences become much harsher.
Uses alcohol and marijuana, and even more recently, like mid-December, he had reported that he had stopped drinking alcohol altogether. There are concerns that he has been using cocaine. Multiple adults in Adrian's life have reported to me that they've found trays in his belongings with white residue. When I've discussed this with Adrian, he denies. He reports that he's not using cocaine, that he's not sure where that information would be coming from. Adrian also has a history with the criminal justice system, including being involved in probation prior to the opening of this case. He was unsuccessfully discharged from probation because he was not following the guidelines. In September of 2025, Adrian was involved in an incident in Grand Traverse County. He's not receiving charges for that incident because the police found that there was no criminal involvement on his end, but it attributed some more poor choices on Adrian's part. He had gotten in a vehicle with somebody he had just met who, lo and behold, had stole the vehicle and was under the influence of multiple substances. They were involved in a high-speed chase. The car had crashed 2 times prior to Adrian and the driver getting out of the vehicle and actually being apprehended by the police.
This part highlights how quickly bad choices can snowball. Getting into the wrong car, staying in prohibited homes, and ignoring boundaries aren't isolated mistakes. They signal deeper instability. The court isn't just tracking events. It's looking for patterns. Every confirmed visit, every incident report, every disclosure builds a larger picture of risk. Family court works on accumulation, not single moments. And here, that pattern raises serious questions about supervision, accountability, and whether the current arrangements are truly protecting this young person.
Another minor female, pregnant. When I spoke with Adrian in the middle of December, he did report that that was accurate. He is very concerned that he will receive criminal charges because he is 17, almost 18, and the minor child, or the minor female, is only 15. So at this point, last I had heard, his girlfriend does plan to keep the child, and Adrian plans to support her in that decision.
Okay, and he's also not going to school.
Yes, correct. He, throughout the duration of this case, has not attended school. He has a Chromebook to attend. I believe it's E2020. In early December, he had reported to me that he returned the Chromebook to the school because he was having issues with it, and that he was hoping to get a new one so that he could restart classes.
All right, and how's he able to do all this stuff at his foster placement?
So he was placed with his grandmother through a majority of these concerns. Grandma, while wants to be supportive, does not necessarily supervise Adrian in the way that is likely appropriate given his history.
Now we turn to the younger child, and the focus shifts to basics. School, medical care, and a safe home. Notice how much weight is placed on documentation and verification. A video walkthrough helps, but enrollment records, doctor visits, and formal transfers matter more. Crossing state lines complicates everything, which is why the interstate process comes into play. This is bureaucracy with a purpose, ensuring that distance doesn't equal neglect. The court isn't accusing, it's verifying, and that distinction is important.
For him, in hopes that we can help him prepare for turning 18, though he does not seem very open to participating in typical independent living programs or classes. He has not participated in MYOY and does not want to participate. So there are some concerns that once he turns 18, he could find himself in some trouble just given his history.
All right, and then I'd like to talk about Logan Weber. Is he still in Arizona with his dad?
He is, yes.
And I've spoken with Mr. Lawrence. He's talked about a video walkthrough of the domicile for the minor child. And, he said that it was appropriate. Do you have similar information, or do you know of that?
Yes, I participated in the same walkthrough that Mr. Lawrence participated in. I would add that since that walkthrough, Mr. Weber has sent photos and a video, likely to myself and Mr. Lawrence, of the home, showing that Logan now has a bedroom, which was a concern that we had during the walkthrough, that he had not had a secure bedroom, but he does now.
Okay, and what about Logan's?
At this stage, you can feel the court trying to thread a needle. Forced services may not work, but doing nothing isn't an option either. With one child nearing adulthood and the other living out of state, the system is running out of leverage. Monitoring, referrals, and follow-ups become the tools of choice. This is prevention mode. Try to reduce harm before it escalates. It's not about punishment here. It's about building guardrails while there's still time to influence outcomes.
I had followed up with the school towards the beginning of December and received a phone call right before holiday break stating that Logan was not enrolled as a student. I did call the school today to confirm whether that meant that he was not enrolled in person or if he was not enrolled altogether. The school reported to me that they do not even offer online schooling. So that was not a conversation that was had. The school reported they were aware that Anthony and Logan were moving to Arizona. They did not report to me that they had received any sort of transfer paperwork or anything like that from any school in Arizona.
Okay, and are there, is the department, through your agency, is it working through the interstate compact to assess the environment in Arizona?
Yes, I almost have the packet completed to send over to ICPC. I will be sending that to our counterparts over at DHS for their approval, and then it will get sent to ICPC to start the evaluation in Arizona.
Okay, and as your report indicates for both children, they are healthy and there's really no pressing issues medically for both of the kids.
Correct. Logan is behind on medical and dental appointments. Both Serena and Anthony have reported that he hasn't been seen in likely years. Anthony had reported that he would be seeking medical and dental care for Logan once they had gotten to Arizona. I've not heard an update on whether or not that's occurred.
Okay, do you have communication with Mr. Weber?
I do. It's a little bit infrequent at this time, but I do have communication with him.
Okay, and you do have an actual address for them in Arizona?
Yes, I do.
Okay. How did you know that when you did the walkthrough that you were actually at their house?
His girlfriend, he's residing with, was also present. Their belongings were in the home. There wasn't a concern that it was like an unlived in home or somebody else's home at that point. The photos that Anthony supplied to me just a few weeks ago match the, I guess you could say, like, aesthetic of the home that was shown in the video. You could tell that it was the same home.
So you didn't get any proof of, like, hey, here's the front door and here's the address on the house?
No, we did not.
Okay. And then is mom, has she been entertaining any voluntary services at this time?
She is involved in services through Catholic Human Services, and she participates in random substance screens with the agency. Ms. Weber has had a few hospitalizations for mental health stabilization over the course of the case so far. Currently, her Catholic Human Services counselor is targeting both substance use and mental health.
And then your report indicates that in December, Serena indicated that she was using methamphetamine when Aiden was still in the home.
Yes. So Adrian had reported to me that when he was residing at his mother's home, he was concerned that she was using. He felt that he was maybe experiencing symptoms of withdrawal because Miss Weber typically smokes her methamphetamine. When I had a conversation with Miss Weber about this, she did say that she was using while he was there, but reported that it was only when he wasn't physically in the home. So he would have been at work or something like that during the time that she would use. She reported that when he was physically there, she was not using.
Okay. Mr. Brown has indicated he hasn't